Life is difficult. I think we all know that. But sometimes things happen in life that are so difficult, so painful, so overwhelming that those events shatter our sense of well-being. There are a wide variety of things that can happen to us. There can be trauma, there can be abuse, there can be multiple bereavement, all kinds of tragic events that really cause our well-being to just disappear. It's just broken. And trying to move on from that is really a process of recovery. And, recovery takes various forms. We often think of recovery in terms of addiction, and what we know about recovery often comes from addiction-related models. But recovery is really the process of trying to find that well-being again, of recreating it for ourselves. Today I want to talk about spirituality and well-being and the recovery process. And I want to talk specifically about the role spirituality plays as we're in a recovery process. While I do, be sure to subscribe to this channel and click the bell so you're notified of future videos. So when those events in life happen that cause our well-being to shatter, whether it's physical or sexual abuse, whether it's overwhelming violence, whether it's some other thing, our trauma responses can take various forms. It could be something like PTSD or anxiety in lots of forms, or depression. And these events can lead along the pathway to addiction. They can really help support, in effect, the development of addiction, because addiction can often be the way that a person medicates the pain of life. They try to ease that pain by numbing themselves through whatever the form of addiction is. But also with that, in terms of spirituality, part of what happens is when we've had that sense of well-being shattered, we no longer think that there's something good about us. I mean, why would there be something good whenever something so bad has happened to me? We begin to doubt ourselves more. And we find that, life doesn't have meaning. Life doesn't have any purpose, that there is nothing for us in life, because we find that life is unpredictable. If this bad thing happened once, something like it could happen again, and we know that. And so we want to keep our heads down. We don't want to see possibilities because we want to protect ourselves. And that process of keeping our head down is actually the process of continuing to look at the hurt and the pain rather than looking up and finding something beautiful and hopeful and inspiring. And that's where spirituality is really found. Spirituality in recovery is so important that the National Institutes of Health has even funded research on spirituality in recovery. So, think of it in terms of this is important enough that federal money is spent to understand it better. But part of understanding that role of spirituality, in a broad sense, in this little video I can't go into a lot of detail, but I can give you some broad strokes, that it's really a movement from that place of pain to a place of hope and healing. And as I said, it begins with that experience of having been hurt so badly that your sense of well-being is gone and you're caught up in yourself, and all you can find is the pain. And it keeps you wadded up in yourself. 12-step programs begin with a step that talk about finding a higher power, a power greater than yourself, are the exact words. Now, that isn't necessarily a deity. That may be a deity, but it may be a recognition that beyond you, beyond the pain that you're experiencing, there's something good, there's something inspiring, there's something of beauty, there's something worthwhile. I talk in other videos about hope as being the possibility of finding something good when we don't see it. And this is about that hope of looking up and finding something beyond ourselves that can inspire and draw us out of ourselves. Because when we begin to look up and find that inspiration, that beauty, that truth, that whatever it may be, that sense of awe at a sunrise or something else beautiful in nature, or the experience of love for another, or a job well done that makes us feel good about ourselves, or a moment of peace from prayer or meditation, whatever it may be, when we look up and experience that, then we find that thing to be meaningful. And it opens the possibility for our life to be meaningful again. It draws us into something that's valuable so that we in turn can find value in ourselves. And as we find meaning and value and purpose in us, in our lives, that's essential in the recovery process. That's when we begin to put our well-being together again, because we are able to see who we are as someone who is valuable, as someone who has meaning for life, that it's important for us to be alive. You know, the 12-step program goes through the steps, the 12 steps, and they come to a place where they say, you know, you have found this new life, this new meaning, this new purpose, this new value. Now go share it with others. The process of recovery is getting to the place where you have found so much beauty and truth and hope in your life, that life has again become meaningful and purposeful for you, that you're able to share it with others and help others find it. Because so many people in the world are broken. And this is how we repair each other and the world. Now, we don't do it alone. It's important for us to have people along with us. You know, that's part of the wisdom of 12-step programs. It's done in a group. But a 12-step group may not be the right place for you. You know, maybe it's a group process like Rational Recovery or the Red Road to Sobriety. Or maybe it's working with a therapist. But I think also an important part is working with a spiritual director, because a good spiritual director will help you put together these pieces of spirituality in a way that enable you to discover what's meaningful about who you are and where there's purpose in your life. So really think about the role of working with someone specifically around spirituality, because it's so critical to recovery. It's so very important. But ultimately, what's important for us all is that we continue to find each and every day that there's goodness and truth and beauty around us as well as within us. And that's what's living with well-being and wholeness and holiness. Be sure to subscribe to this channel, like the video, share it with others, and leave me some comments. Let me know how I can be helpful. And thanks for your time on Spirituality Beyond Borders. Have a really great day.